Okay, so we're going to work on the water piston body right here, and it's a metric piece, so we'll get this unit set up right in the very beginning. Let's talk about it for a second though. We got a part here. This is like kind of like if you were looking down from the top, what's going on, and then this is our side of it. So there's a hole in one side here, but it doesn't go all the way through, but it does on the other side over here. There's a hole on this side, so it's the opposite side. So you can see that there's hidden lines there. So we're going to need to clarify this sort of stuff. And as you know, you shouldn't put dimensions on a drawing, so these dimensions that are on here would need to come off of it. It's important to know here that the base of this whole thing, we'll just put this on the bottom, we'll call this the base. It is 22 thick, and then the overall height of it is going to be 100, which is 100 minus 22 is going to be 78. So that's the distance from the base up to the top. That's going to be important for us in the very beginning. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at this right here, and these line up. So this is now 50. So that diameter is 50 right there. So we're going to extrude that up 54 minus 22 from that surface right there, and then we'll put a hole on this right here and extrude it through all the way through. That's a 24. So that should get us the main body of the part. Then we'll go back on to this right side over here, and we'll put a point right here. We'll finish that sketch. We're going to add that hole right there. That should be a hole we're going to add to that. That's 24. We'll finish that sketch. We'll finish that extrusion. We'll come around to the other side. Onto this side here, we're going to do the same thing. It'll be the exact same position when we do that. So we'll add that hole right there. So it'll be 44 from the center over, and it'll be 66 up from the bottom for both of those holes to put those through. And finally, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set our fillets, and we'll go ahead and add those all the way around, and we'll notice that they're here and here, so those are on the bottom. They're also around the corners right here, so we'll do that all in one final thing. But we're going to start with our origin point right here from the center, and so that means I'm going to do a center rectangle. So you need to go to Schoology. Sorry, we're going to need to go to Schoology. You're going to come down to your classes, and when you're going to find your class that you're on, and you're going to scroll down till you find the water piston body, and you're going to click on it and open it up. And then once it's open, we're going to go right here. We're going to change our workplace units to metric or millimeter, and 0 there. So now we should be in the right thing. Now I'm just going to try to make this easy on myself. I'm going to click a new sketch on there, view normal 2, and I'm going to start by doing a center point rectangle right from the center here and just kind of draw this thing out. Alright, so this is my base. I'll go ahead and put what dimensions I can on here right now, and this was 116 wide. The length of it was 164. I'll go ahead and add these fillets on the corners out here, which the radius was 20. So I'm going to put here to here and make that 20. And I'll do the same here and here, here and here, and here and here. Oops. Oh, do that, enter. I'm going to add those. I thought I was doing those all at once, but apparently I'm not. So I'll just do them right now. Alright, I'm going to finish that sketch, and I like to look at them isometrically so I can see what's going on, and I will extrude that 22. Alright, so that's extruded 22. I'm going to go ahead and right here onto this surface, I'm going to click a new sketch, and the wall thickness was 12, so let's see if I view normal 2 on this one. I wonder if I can. I'll try to do an offset here, and I'll offset this whole thing. So I'm going to offset this and this and this. I'll offset all of these right here all the way around, and I'm going to make them go inward, and I'm going to change that to 12. So that should get everything right there. Oops, I didn't mean to finish that sketch. I want to put dimensions on. I'm going to edit this. So I got 12. Oh, it is finished. So that worked out perfect. Alright. Okay, so then I will finish that sketch, and this time when I do my extrusion, I'm going to click extrude and do the outside part right here, and it's going to go up the 78, or you can do 100 minus 22. It'll do the math for you. So you got that part. Then we'll go ahead and click on this surface right here. This is a new sketch onto that surface. View normal 2. to that sketch plane. I'm going to draw a circle right here from the center point. Just kind of draw that out there, and then I'll put the dimension in as 50. So that's fully constrained, and then we'll go ahead and extrude that up. We'll extrude that up there, and it's going to be, the extrusion there is going to be 54 minus 22. The number we've got there from there. Alright, so that's in there. We can do a couple of things. I could add a sketch and put a dot on there and add a hole, but in this case I'm just going to create a new sketch on this plane right here, because this is the easiest thing to do right here, is just to make a circle and put that on there and make that 24. Wow, look at that, I was 24, I was close. 24, and I'm going to extrude that one right here, and I want to have it removed, so I'm going to change this to go through all, and that's it. Alright, so now we'll kind of move this around here. I'm going to go onto this surface, click new sketch, and view normal to that plane right there. I'm going to rotate this because I want to look at it straight on. Oops, oh man, I really messed that up. Alright, so I prefer it that way. So then, since I'm on here on this sketch, I'm going to just drop this thing in here. I knew that was 88 between the two, so I'll put a dimension on here that goes from here to here, and that is 44. And then the dimension up from the bottom was 66. I was really close. I love it when I guess close like that. Alright, so then we'll finish that sketch. And then we can do the same. We can go over to the other side right here onto this side, and I can add a sketch right here, new sketch onto this plane, and click there it is, put a point right here somewhere, and I'm going to do the same as I actually could dimension from here to here. This time it will be 88, and this from here up there, I could do a horizontal constraint and say I want these two to be horizontally constrained. So it saves me some dimensions there. So now I've got that kind of figured out. At this point, now that I've finished that sketch, I can put the holes in, and this hole is not a PEM hole, it's a drilled hole. There's no counterbore, it's in metric, so I'm going to change that. The metric is, and it's going to be a 24 millimeter hole. So that's 24. It's not going to go through all. It's going to go a blind distance of 12, because we're only going through the thing here. So I'll click that one, and it's going to go through that way. And I think I can do this one too. And it goes through, both of those go through only as far as we needed them to. And so they go through it. And there's that. So now the last thing to do, like I was saying before, is actually put these fillets in here. So I'm going to click fillet. I'm going to change my radius to 6, and then come in here and click this all the way around there like that. So that was quick and easy. And I'll go ahead and put this one in here like this, and that was quick and easy. Alright, so now we're done that. We're finished that part of it. The whole part's now done. So we'll move on to making the drawing. So I'm going to right click on it right here, create a new drawing. Now if you haven't done it yet, click the Onshape drawing templates and go pick one here. We're doing metric, so I'm going to do ANSI mm. So I don't want to do anything crazy, but we do need to do section views, but I'm going to pick no views because I want to choose what view I get to look at when it comes in. So when the first view comes in, you can see by those extra lines there that it's trying to do the front view the wrong way. I actually want to use my top view as my front view here. So I'm going to put this one right here. I'll put that view in, and then I'm going to hit escape. So this is a view I want. I'm going to right click because the tangent edges are making things weird, so I'm going to hide my tangent edges and go from this point. Now this is a perfect view to put some dimensions on, and usually you would do a top view or a right side view, but in this case we're going to do something a little different to get the section view. What we want to be able to do, oh by the way, let's right click on this and click hidden lines so we can see where those hidden lines, these are important to be able to do that. So we want to show those things. So I'm going to put the center lines on that one and the center lines on that one. We want to show those, and normally what we do is to cut right through and do a full section, you'd click this and put it right on the center point, but we don't want to do that, not this time. This time what we want to do is click right about here No, actually, we're going to click the midpoint right here, come back to here. Now, notice we picked vertical, so I'm going to pick this one and then come down like this. And I do believe that what that's going to do is it's going to, oops, let me undo that. I'm going to click vertical, click the midpoint here, click here, and then I'm going to come down. Yeah, this is what I'm going to try to do. Move this out here like this. So I got my other view, and it's going to create the section for it. And it only does a half section here. It doesn't do the full section. Full section would be all the way through. Half section is only that part right there. So we can see the outside of this here. We're following that section line, and it goes up this way, cuts that in half, comes back out here, and it doesn't cut it any longer. So that's what's happening here. So this gives us the opportunity to dimension stuff that's inside the part and still see what's going on outside, because these dimensions are actually important. All right, so now we're going to look at some of these things and start putting dimensions on. And I'll start here by just doing, let's see, I'm going to do the wall thickness here and here. And I'll put this in place there, and we'll put this one in here. And so now we know what that is. I'm going to go ahead and do a dimension that goes from here down to the center of my circle there, and put this in right about here, and I'll do another one to tell us how far down that is, the whole thing. I'm also going to do one that says that's a dimension from this line here to the center point there, so I can put that one in place. And I'm going to do an overall width of this whole thing too. So we got that one there. So that tells us all the stuff we needed to know there. Now I'm going to move this out just a little bit more, because what I want to do here is I'm going to put in a dimension that tells us what that is. I'm going to drop this down here so it doesn't interfere with those hidden lines. And then I'm going to do one here that that doesn't, we didn't click that as a whole. So I'm going to do this one. We created that one individually, so I'm going to have to double click this one, hit space, and then put in THRU, all caps. All right. So that's a through hole, all that stuff. So now we've covered a lot of the stuff about this thing here. We know where it's located. We know how deep it is. What we don't know is how tall it is. So let's go over here. I'm going to grab this section right here, and I'm going to just drop it out of the way for a minute. If we can, we'll squeeze it back up closer to the part, but I want to dimension the base right there and what that is. And then we're going to dimension also from here up to that line right there. We'll put this one in place right here. So that's 54. That tells us now everything about this is taken care of. We know what the diameter is. We know there's a hole going through it. We know the base of it, how much the base is. We know how tall that part is there. There's nothing else we need to worry about with that part of it, because we know it's 54 to the top. We know what the diameter is. All right. So then the next thing I'm going to probably do here is we know what the overall length of this is. What we don't know is the distances. Like, say for instance, probably want to do one that goes from here to here to tell us what that distance is, and then we're going to add that 88 between those two right there, and we'll just line that up. So that tells us how to get there. It was important to measure before. When we measured this, putting it in, we measured from there to here to tell us how far up those were. So now we've got that figured out. We can go ahead and use the whole command and put this in here like that. And it is in two places, so I'm going to click this right here, drop down here, and just put two places, so we can see that that it's now on both sides and what's exactly happening. All right, so that's going on there. 66. We got. Oh, we need to know an overall height. So, I'm just going to click the line right here like this and add that to it right there. So I think we're talking about being, we got the wall thicknesses there. What we probably want to know, actually, I think this is another thing. This isn't. If we know what the wall thicknesses are, we don't need to do this one because it's 12 all the way around. Okay, so I think all that's left is putting like this dimension on here, that where we know what this radius is here. Oh, that's an 8. That's an interesting one. And then, so that changes some things. So then this one was, if I can help it, we're going to dimension that right there like this, and that's a 6. Now, numbers wise, that offset should have worked out pretty good for us there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to change this so I don't. If you can help it, you don't want to do those broken lines like that. So I'm going to change this to come down here and be right here like this. If you can help it. If sometimes you can't, and that's the proper way to do it if you can help it. All right, so let's see. I think that's everything that we needed to know about this part right here, like this. Now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to see if I can do something and change this. And this is okay if you go back and do this. Double click this. Go back to that original sketch right there. I'm going to edit that original sketch. No, I'm not. I'm not editing that sketch. I'm editing sketch number 2. Because that radius right there was supposed to be 6. So I'm going to delete that and delete this one. And I'm going to delete this one and delete this one. And I'm going to go ahead and put a fillet in. My fillet radius is from here to here. Is supposed to be not 20 but 6. Interesting, very interesting. It's okay if you leave it that way and finish your drawing, but I'm going to draw this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line in here. As a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to draw a rectangle here like this. And I'm going to add dimensions on that go from here to here and make that one 12. I'm going to do one from here to here, make this one 12. And that should be exactly what we need there. So I'm going to finish that sketch and see what happens. So that kind of changes things there a little bit. This way I can go back in here, and if I go to this fillet right here and edit that fillet, I can add that right there to this, and I can add it here, and I can add it here, and I can add it here. So I got that in all those places, and then we should be good. Alright, so that should cover that. So let's see what happens when we go over here and look at this, and I got to refresh this, and that should change, or it's going to make it red. So, okay, so those things change there a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and, because it's me, I'm going to delete those and put this dimension back in here this way. And I don't like to see things like that that are kind of confusing or unfinished or some weirdness between all of the things. As a matter of fact, I don't know why those two. Oh, there, that changes. This isn't right here, so I'm just going to delete this one. Delete that, and I'll add this one back in here. 6. Alright, so don't know why this one changes so much, but I'll just delete it. And add a new one back in. Alright, now I understand this other one here because apparently it took that out on the bottom. So I'll just go back over here again and look at this one. And so I didn't catch that it took that out. So when we click this fillet and edit it, when I click that and edit that fillet, I want to go ahead and add this in here all the way around. Oops. There and there. Alright, so now I'm going to come back over here. I should click this. It should change that, and that 22 is either going to work or it's not. Works good now. Alright, so now we're talking about that. Now, you might have done this already, so let's go ahead and I'm going to put in here water body piston as my title. Oh, I'm sorry, it's water piston body. Water piston body. And put a space in there where it belongs. And we're going to change the part number to 295-8-59. Okay. So that's it. We're ready. That should be all you need there.